I was a home brewer, yes. I was a home brewer. Started while I was in college, and for whatever reason took to it. I did finish my degree and then got the opportunity to brew professionally, and I've been here ever since. And I don't know what I'd do without it, quite honestly. Hope & King is kind of a fun beer. When I started here at the brewery almost 11 years ago, Hope & King existed here already. It was started by the first brewer that was here for 3 years, and it was one that people really seem to enjoy. Its history is based from a defunct brewery in Scotland. It's brewed very traditionally. It's got the English malts in it, but it's all about the malt. Hops in that beer, there's a little bit for bittering, just for balancing. It's not about the hops. Scottish beers are not about hops, and this one is the same way. It's a great beer to have with heavy meats. It's a great beer to have when fall or winter come, maybe even spring. But you're going to get a lot of deep roasted caramel and toffee tones. Some deep red berries are going to be in there. The yeast, I think, offers a nice bready character, and certainly as you let that beer warm up a little bit, the profile comes out, the malts come out tenfold. We like hops in this brewery as well. I like hops at home, but there's other stuff out there in the world of beer today that's just marvelous. With Hope & King, we're trying to illustrate that you can get full, flavorful beers that don't knock your taste buds, out of the park. 1800 is it's an English IPA, but it's a pretty aggressive one. If you've looked at the recipe, you're probably aware of that. We were looking into some historical books 3-4 years ago and came across this recipe for this ale. The date on it was around 1800, and it's a style that we think is very interesting because it highlights some of the beautiful malts that the British make, and the very specific character of the hops as well. I calculated this out. If we use this many hops and make it this bitter, people aren't going to be able to drink it. So what we did was say, okay, they calculated out to X amount per barrel, whatever it was, and we used that amount of hops when we made the beer. But if you've looked at the recipe, it's super heavy on hops in the end of it. So we were able to use the same poundage that the recipe originally had told us, but the bittering we were able to drop down where it was a consumable point, I guess. I mean, it's still a big beer. You're talking, it's over 8%. Bittering is last time we had it tested, it was up in the 80s somewhere. But there's enough malt to back it up, certainly. The Maris Otter that we use to make that beer, it's incredibly, the grainy character of Maris Otter is really there. You're using it. The bready, the nutty character, it's all there. Well, brewing with some of these English hops, some of those aromas actually lend themselves extremely well to those malt characters. So in the nose, you're getting super rich, malty aromas with just a hint of a grassy feel, from the English hops used. But the finishing gravity is high enough, there's enough residual sugar that the hops it's not overkill. We found that old recipe, we made the beer, we really liked how it turned out, and the customers went nuts for it. Certainly the first 3 times we made it, they were drinking it. It was one of our fastest selling beers ever. And it was a one-time-a-year thing, and because it was so popular, we decided to make it twice a year, once in June and once in December. At Christmas time, you get your little 1800 if you want. But so if you want it those times of the year, we got it for you. Otherwise, you got to make it at home.